things that have the appearance of virtue in the minds of some people of this earth. Some people consider it a virtue to have desires for other members of the human race that are of the same sex. Speaking of gay and lesbians, LGBT, they have parades, they have petitions, they exalt it as being a supreme example of virtue and worthy of all efforts and causes, and so they really go after promoting it and displaying it and exalting it so that it can be acceptable to the rest of humanity. And other things that humanity exalts and promotes, because it, in their eyes, it's virtuous. It's worthy of. It has worth. It's worthy. Such as premarital relationships, sexual. In the ancient times, they called it fornication, or having relations with someone else's spouse, which is the ancients called adultery. These were forbidden according to ancient customs and traditions. It was considered sinful, and it was considered a transgression against God. But there were always those, even in their day, the days of the ancients, who thought it was virtuous to behave and act in these ways, doing things that are that are considered unnatural. When you look at it from a logical perspective, if you're into design theory, you'll see that males are different than females, and females are different than males. Just like a boat is different than a car, and an apartment is different than a house, and Mars is different than Venus, and clouds are different than land. Fish are different than mammals, and so forth. That's because they were designed that way. We're designed for procreation. In order to procreate, you have to have those differences. That's a good. I believe that's good evidence that there is proof of an original plan, blueprint for humanity to follow, and that deviating from that blueprint has consequences. If not realized in their lifetime, it's realized in the hereafter, in eternity. According to many ancient religions, they believe that there is accountability eventually, and they'll have to respond. They'll have to respond to their Creator about how they followed God's original blueprint, because by nature, by instincts, which is all pre-wired, pre-programmed into our thinking and into our consciences, and we're automatically designed to follow this blueprint. So how is it that we're able to shy away from it, to fall back from this, from following this blueprint. Apparently, there's another element of truth to God's creation, and it's called the law of free will. That we're all not just created as robots, just to follow a predetermined path. Although that's true too. There is a predetermined path, but there's also another law that is correlated with it, that runs parallel to it, and that's it's called free will, freedom of choice. Just like you have the laws of gravity, it's hard to escape it. You also have the law of thrust, so that you can escape it, even though it doesn't discontinue the law of gravity. It runs parallel to it, so that you can escape gravity by implementing another law called the law of thrust and aerodynamics. So all these laws, there's moral laws too, and they coexist. More moral laws, more laws of morality. You shall not do this, you shall not do that. You must do this, you must do that. There are parameters. There are fixed boundaries. There is a rule, a system that's already set in place for man to adhere to. But there's also free will. And God allows us to choose which path to follow. And I believe it's because that's the only way that anything can really have meaning and purpose, is if people are able to make a choice. If we weren't able to make a choice, and we just did what we were already pre-programmed to do, then there wouldn't really be meaning and purpose in relationship. Because it would almost be like the ancient monarchies, where marriages were prearranged and people didn't have a choice on who their spouse would be. I'm glad we have choice. So God says, choose life that we might live. That's what he told the ancient Israelites when after Moses was given the 10 Commandments for Israel. If they chose to follow it, they would live. If they chose not to, well, we don't have to talk about that, because it's not good.